Welcome to SUP Board Guide. Today we are going to be reviewing the new Gili Meno inflatable stand-up paddle boards. These boards just came out this year and we did decide to put them on our top rated all-around list for this year, and for a lot of good reasons. It's a really kind of cool concept board, so we'll dive into that. But kind of bottom line, these boards are really, high weight capacity, stable all-arounds, but they're still really lightweight. It's just 23 or 24 pounds, so it's kind of a unique offering in the market, and we really do like the Gili Meno, both the 10'6" version and the 11'6" version. We're going to now dive into kind of the specs and the features of the Gili Meno series. We're going to do these boards side by side so you can kind of see the differences and hopefully get a decent sense of which board is better for you and what you want, because each board has its kind of own different kind of unique personality, right? So on the left side here we got the Meno 10'6". You can see it's a foot shorter than the 11'6" version. They are both 35 inches wide, right? And so that's a really wide, stable platform. They're 6 inches thick, so you get a lot of volume with these boards. And kind of stepping back and looking at it from like a shape perspective, they really are just a good all-around shape. Like I'd say almost right in the middle between kind of a cruising and a touring SUP, just right in that all-around shape where a lot of the width, you get a lot of width through the whole board. It does taper a little more at the tail and then a little bit up at the front. And from a shape perspective, it's, like I said, it's just a good all-around board for a lot of different kind of conditions and situations. So as far as like some other specs and the differences between the two, the 10'6", again, it's 10'6", 35 by 6, and it weighs 23 pounds with a 450 pound weight capacity. We've tested it up to that. I mean, I've had almost my entire family on these boards and they do really well. The 11'6" Meno, again, 11'6" by 35 by 6, it's 24 pounds, so it's about an extra pound. That's, that extra foot of PVC. And then because you have that extra volume, it does increase the weight capacity up to 485 pounds. So kind of what that means, they're both really stable boards, and they're going to support pretty much any beginner, intermediate kind of paddler. You don't have to worry about that. You're going to have, if you're super concerned about stability, then this one's going to be a little more stable because it has a little higher weight capacity. Now, as far as kind of construction goes, they're both built on, you've got the inner drop stitch core, which gives it its shape and just really makes it tight and hard like a hardboard. Then they use the dual layer fusion technology to kind of wrap it with the PVC, which makes it lightweight. And so, like I said, 24 pounds for a board this size is really lightweight, and we really do like that. One thing that is really unique and kind of new that we haven't seen is they added these carbon fiber rails to that fusion technology. So it just adds a level of stiffness to the boards that you really do feel when you're paddling, and we definitely give kudos to Gili for kind of combining that lightweight of the fusion and the carbon fiber rail. So it's definitely a nice feel out on the water. It's kind of a sporty type feel to it because it is lighter weight, but you still have that stability. So we really like that. The construction on the Gili, really high quality. Gili backs it up with their warranties. They'll definitely take care of you. If they don't, just tell them the SUP Board Guide sent you. But they're really great guys over there. Now, as far as kind of some of the features of the board, you can see the board's definitely loaded with D-rings, so you can attach anything you want to them. They both have 18 D-rings, from the nose up front where you have that action mount. So if you want to mount like a GoPro up there, that's a great spot for that. Then you've got 18 D-rings down to the bottom one here at the tail for your leash. You have 2 large cargo areas on both boards. This one, it's a 6 D-ring area. This one, it's a little bit smaller at the 4 D-rings. If you don't want the one on the rear, you can definitely take that off if you want. They both have 3 handles, which I really like, up on the nose, the middle, and on the end here. And they're good quality handles. They're not, the front and the rear is not wrapped with a neoprene, but that's kind of a really, me getting very picky on that. So I like how they have the 3 handles because they are a little bigger board if you've got kids. One can grab the front and one can grab the rear and carry it out really easily, and because it is so lightweight, it makes it easy for the kids to use. The kind of moving down, you got this nice large EVA deck pad, and it's a very comfortable deck pad. The only thing that we would like to see GILI kind of improve on in the future is kind of these lines here. They're not actual grooves, it's more kind of just there for decoration and look. And so you don't have quite the traction that we'd like to see. And so that would be one recommendation that we have for GILI, that we'd love to see kind of an improvement in the future on that. But the deck pad is very comfortable. I mean, I've paddled at Lake Powell all day on one of these, and it was very comfortable on my feet. So really good there, just could use a little bit more grip. Now, one area that is different between the 10.6 and the 11.6, you'll notice on the 11.6 you have 3 Scotty mounts here, right? And so if you're someone who's looking for a SUP that you can fish on, you definitely want to go for the 11.6. One, you get an extra foot of space. So if you've got a cooler and like an egg crate, or sorry, a milk crate, you know, with all your stuff, that extra space is nice. But the Scotty mounts really turn this into a really good fishing SUP, because you can just add all those, you know, Scotty mount accessories to it. Does not have that on the 10.6, and to be honest, I kind of like that. The reason being is because some people don't want the Scotty mounts on the deck. They want to move around a lot, you know, stack 3 or 4 people on the boards, and by having an option without Scotty mounts, you can do that. So I do really like, and I hope they they continue doing that with next year's series, because it just gives you a good range of options with their Meno series. And you know, kind of bottom line, we just really like that and hope to see them continue that. Now we're going to take a look at all the accessories that come in the kit. And yes, everything you see here comes included when you buy one of the Gili Meno boards. So really cool what GILI has done here. They've added some extra versatility in the fins and some other things, so let's go through it. Starting out with the backpack, GILI upgraded all their backpacks this year. And so this is a new backpack for GILI, very comfortable, nice shoulder straps, waist straps, you know, padded back there, really good quality on the nylon and on the zippers, so they definitely upgraded that, and I like that. There's a pouch up front where you can kind of put your fins. They don't have pouches like kind of the bungee type pouches on the side, but you do have this little pouch here. And then this bag has the wheels. So for someone, you know, which makes it really nice to kind of carry in and out from your car to your garage, etc. But it's still, like, because they put the wheels on the outside instead of the inside, the wheels don't get trapped and caught up in the straps. And when you're carrying it on your back, it's actually fairly comfortable. In fact, I biked in about 2 miles to a lake with this board, and I was totally fine. So it is a good backpack, really good quality. Love how GILI's upgraded that. Included inside, you've got your repair kit, pretty standard repair kit with a couple patches and the wrench for the valve in the back to tighten that up. Keep a hold of that, you don't want to lose it in case you ever do need it. They have nice coiled leashes, and they're kind of color coded, right? So this one kind of more the teal color. That it is a nice swivel leash, coil so it stays out of the water. Really easy to kind of open up, and it has that key holder. So just a good, nice, quality, comfortable leash. Love to see that. Onto the pump. GILI really did kind of improve the pump this year. So they call it their high flow pump, and it's a dual chamber triple action pump. And it actually breaks down into something really compact. You can kind of take these handles off here. And then this down at the bottom, see if I can do it standing up here. Yeah, twists off and kind of puts on. And you can just pack it up really nice and small. So it's kind of a nice compact size, but you still get the dual chamber triple action. So I really like that on the pump. And the pump does perform really well. How that the triple action dual chamber, works. So you have 3 different settings, 1, 2, and 3. Number 1, high volume. So on the upstroke, you're gonna get air in and, sorry, on the upstroke you're going to push air out, and on the downstroke you're going to be pumping up the board. When it starts to get a little bit hotter, you move to setting number 2, and that turns it into a dual chamber single action. So on the upstroke you're not pumping air in, so it's easier to pull up, and then on the downstroke is when you're pumping air in. And then when it starts to get really hard, you move it to number 3, and so that's where it's a single action, single chamber pump that only, again, so what that means is single chamber. On the upstroke, you're not pumping air in. On the downstroke, you are, but only from the one chamber. So when you get that last couple PSI, that's where you'll want to kind of use that. Or something I like to do, one person on one side, one person on the other, and kind of go at it. You can actually keep it on setting 1 and pump this up super fast. So really good quality pump. We really like that out of GILI. Okay, so now we're going to kind of look at the paddle that GILI has included this year, and they really did kind of upgrade it a little bit. So the GILI paddle, it's a carbon composite shaft and nylon blade. It weighs 29 ounces, so really good quality paddle for a kit blade, and does perform really well. So let me kind of show you, it breaks down into these 3 pieces, really easy to kind of assemble and put together. So, and I like the locking systems that they have. So here you've got the snap lock here. Don't flap your fingers. But then it also has the clamp, so it keeps it nice and a little firmer than some of the other paddles at this level. And then up front here, just note that you don't have any kind of guidelines here, so this will spin a little bit if you don't get this tight, but it is nice and easy to kind of just put in when you just flip that up. You slide that right in, line it up, make sure that's nice and straight. And then on the front side here, they have these guides that tell you kind of how tall to make it. So for me, I'm about 5'11", 6 foot. Clamp right there, and you'll notice it's just right about, kind of that, shock of length between. And so it's set up really easy, really good lightweight paddle, again, 29 ounces. We're just really impressed with the paddle that GILI did include on this kit. So kind of moving on, side note, it is also kind of color coordinated, so kind of cool little thing that they've done. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flip over the board and we're gonna show you the fins, because that's an area where GILI really has kind of gone the extra mile on the Meno series. So looking at the fins, and again, all of these kind of come standard in the kit, so I really got to give props to GILI for doing this, is they really made it to where you can fine tune this fin box a little bit. So you have your 2 side fins, and they're snap lock fins, so they just go in really easily, snap right in here. When you put them in, all you need to do is make sure this part here is all the way down, and it snaps right in, right? The center fin box is a US fin box, and I like that because it does give you some options that you wouldn't have if the center fin was snap lock. So it is a little bit, it takes another minute to kind of put in, but other than that, it's really nice because it can be fine-tuned. And I love how they've included 3 different center fins. So you have the 9-inch kind of more hatchet, kind of racing touring fin. You've got a 4.5 inch what they call a speed fin, and it's a flexi fin. So if you're going down a river or something like that, the flexi is actually kind of nice. And then they've got a 3-inch river fin. So if you're going through some really shallow stuff, you can put that on. So it makes it a little bit easier to take this board into a lot of different kind of conditions. And again, just 2 thumbs up, good props to GILI for doing that. To put the fins in, pretty simple. You've got this mounting bracket with this bolt here, and basically you just kind of, what I like to do is put this on just a little bit and slide it in. You can slide that part to the front and then take that out. Okay, and then you put this in backside first, slide it back. And one nice thing about the US fin box is it lets you kind of tune this a little bit, so you can put it towards the back for more of a touring type feel, a little more towards the front for a little more maneuverable feel, right? So if you take one of these smaller fins, you'll have a little bit more kind of play with that, and you can go to a surf shop and get whatever fins you want, right? But you just put that in, line that up with that little hole in that mounting bracket, and you just screw it in. So you don't need tools, which is nice. You can replace these pretty easily, again, Amazon, surf shop, wherever. And you just want to tighten that in down nice and tight. So you can see a little bit harder than the snap lock, but really it's not hard, and it's a really good fin box. So in general, love what GILI's done with the fins.
So now we're going to take the Gili Meno 10.6 out, and we're going to kind of show you kind of what these Meno series kind of feel like on the water, and try to give you an idea of how well they perform in terms of stability, in terms of tracking and glide, and in terms of maneuverability. Those are three of the main things that we kind of look at. And so from a stability standpoint, as I mentioned, I mean, the Meno series, they're 35 inches wide, they're 6 inches, they have so much volume and such a high weight capacity that they really are stable boards. They're still pretty lightweight. Like, this is 23 pounds, and so it does have a little, you know, kind of a get up and go kind of sporty feel to it, but it's still very stable, especially with those carbon fiber rails. You can kind of see the flex on this board, it really doesn't flex much, and just is a really good platform for those who are beginners, those who want just a really nice, stable, multi-person type SUP. In terms of tracking and glide, with all the different fin options that Gili provides, the tracking is really good on the board. You do have, because it's 35 inches wide, you do have to reach over just a little bit more, so you might want to lengthen your paddle just a little bit. But in general, as you can see, like, the board has a really good track to it, and the glide just, you know, that lightweight, it does just kind of glide over the water really well and just performs really good on that. The carbon fiber rails also kind of help keep that board nice and stiff and just give it a good, you know, good performance overall. As far as maneuverability goes, because it's lightweight, you know, even though you have that big center fin and, you know, the width, you can still maneuver it. You can see, you know, it's just kind of this back paddle stroke. So it's still pretty maneuverable and does a really good job. In fact, if you're like in a river and you need to really kind of move in and out, you can kind of go to a more aggressive kind of surf stance as you kind of like move in and around things, and that 35-inch platform really kind of helps there. And then as you get a little more advanced and you want to kind of do more of those back fin turns, you have a nice big wide platform in the back to just kind of step back to, right? And just get that nose just a little bit out of the water and do that back fin turn. So it's, you know, as you can see, it's really easy to lift that nose and turn this board. It's a really good board for beginners to learn that back fin stroke because of how wide that base is. And it just really does make that nice and stable even as you're performing that turn. That little bug off there. So just in general, you know, as you can kind of tell, the Gili's just a really fun board to kind of move around with, to get out on the lake, take out on the river, take out on the ocean. Just a great all-around stand-up paddleboard with a really nice high weight capacity that really lets you kind of learn stand-up paddleboarding, put a lot of people on the board, and just really have a lot of fun. So we really do like that about the Meno. As far as the 10.6 versus the 11.6 goes, they're both 35 inches wide, and so they're going to paddle really similar to each other. The 11.6 is a little bit harder to get going because it weighs a little bit more, but once you get it going, it can be a little bit faster than the 10.6. Other than that, they're very similar boards.
Kind of bottom line, as you can tell, we really do like the Gili Meno, both the 10.6 and the 11-foot board. I really like Gili as a company. They really care about their customers. They really take care of you. I love how they're kind of doing this campaign for, you know, saving the reefs, where they donate a portion of every sale to saving, you know, the oceans and the reefs. Frankly, they're my daughter's favorite board by far because of those really cool graphics, and that does make a difference. And so we love the good that the Gili's doing. We love the, you know, the innovation that they're doing here. And kind of bottom line on the Meno, it's a really good board for beginners to intermediate people that want a wider platform board that really gets a lot of volume under your feet and gives you a high weight capacity, but is also very stable and durable with those, you know, carbon fiber rails, at the same time being very lightweight. So it's kind of a unique combination in the market. We really like what they've done. And so I hope that review was helpful in deciding if this is the right board for you. Go to our website, www.supboardguide.com. You can read the full review there. You can see pictures. In the comment section, ask us any questions if you're kind of deciding between the 10.6, between the 11.6. We're there to answer those questions. And as always, with our YouTube channel, please, like the video, give us a thumbs up, and also subscribe to our channel. We're going to start doing a lot more kind of educational SUP tips, a lot more reviews, and so hopefully you like them. And please leave comments below.